All right, guys. Oh, what is going on? How we doing? It's been a little bit. I'm just gonna wait for a couple more people to get into the stream. How are we doing though? Hope we're all doing okay. Donovan, I see your I see all your comments there, and I did read through them. Make a lot of good points. But welcome, Donovan, AMD, Brown Destroyer, Charles Austin, Diesel Demon. Hey to all of you. Um, Glad you guys can make it. I want to talk a little bit about Aquaman today, and I don't know if any of you um, I don't know if any of you saw my trailer reaction to it, but I don't know. By the end of the reaction, or by the end of the trailer, I should say, I was more so like, it is what it is. It looks like your to me it looks like your typical superhero movie. Now, that's not to say there doesn't look like there's going to be that's not to say that there's not going to be interesting or good things about the film, or very interesting or cool exciting parts, but that's not really what's going to sell me on these movies anymore. They need to just hit it out of the park, you know. No, I'm not gonna sit here and tell you as well that I expect Dark Knight level success from DC films moving forward, because the Dark Knight is just in a league of its own. So, but I still want like a solid outcome of these movies. I want to feel like, for example, when I watch a DC trailer, I want to be able to feel like, okay, this could change things. That's how I want to feel. I want to feel like, oh, you know what? Something could feel different here. Something could be different. This movie looks promising, and lately we just haven't gotten that from DC, and I don't feel much different from Aquaman. So we're going to talk about it a little bit, but still waiting for everyone to pour in. Carlos, what's going on? Yeah. So first of all, just want to comment on what you set up at the beginning here, Donovan. You made a comment here that said there are so many more video games I would rather play that are coming out around Aquaman, and that you would take over the movie any day. And I 100% agree. Realistically, what the Aquaman experience really feels like is it just feels like it is a movie connected to a connected universe, that at the end of the day, when you watch superhero films, at the end of the movie, they always tease something that's going to come at the end of the film. Or in the future of the films. At the end of the movie, they always tease the future, whether it be a new villain, or connecting something to someone else's movie, or the bigger picture, like an event level where everyone comes together to stop the main villain. All these movies have that kind of connection at the end. With Aquaman, you're really not going to have that, and even if you do, the chances of it going anywhere are 1 in a billion. It's just not going to happen. So there's not like much to be excited for after Aquaman. Aquaman is just a movie that I feel it's going to be like, hey, you know what? We watched it, and that's it. It's done. So yeah, I don't know. We'll have to see. But and I also saw another comment. You said the Lost Kingdom poster says the tide is turning. Ironic coming from DC. There is no way it says that. There's no way it says that. The poster for Aquaman actually says that. You're serious? Aquaman, the Lost Kingdom. Is it like the new poster that they released or something that says that? Uh, that's hilarious if that's the case. Hey, Hannah. She's in Winnipeg if anyone is curious, so she probably won't stick around too long. But what's up? Glad you joined in. Uh, oh my God, it does say that. It does say that. Dude, is this like Black Adam all over again? The hierarchy of DC's changing. The tide of DC's changing. Give me a break. You didn't learn your lesson once. Clearly, you're not going to learn your lesson now. Let's see if I can get this up for you. Because on my screen, it's even really like blurry, but I can tell it actually says that. Why does it feel like so difficult to get a good photo of it? Yeah, okay. There it is. Once again, really blurry. If you guys look it up, just look up Aquaman in the Lost Kingdom poster. You'll see. Crazy. That is crazy that it says that. Unreal. So, after the Aquaman trailer dropped yesterday, clearly that is the doors opening for the marketing to begin for Aquaman 2, which, let's be honest here, does not say much at all, considering, like, obviously, when it comes to actors, you can't do any marketing at the moment. Really, what the marketing for this film is going to be is maybe a couple of statements here and there from James Wan. You might also have like just a couple of TV spots and smaller trailers that show different footage throughout the trailers. You know, obviously the odd poster and promotion on social media, but like we are 3 months away. We're 3 months away from this movie. There's not going to be much promotion and marketing going on at all. Realistically, if you wanted to market this movie, you probably should have marketed it, I want to say, starting maybe middle of the summer. That's probably when you would have want to start it. Maybe even beginning of the summer if you really wanted to get it going. Because when you consider it, right, Aquaman 1, the first one, made you over $1 billion. It's your highest grossing DC movie of all time. Now, what I will say is there's no guarantee Aquaman 2 would have ever gotten to that point. There's no guarantee that Aquaman 2 is going to make you $1 billion before all this drama and just bad shit happened to Warner Brothers and DC. There still was no guarantee that was going to happen again. But when you have a movie, when you have a character like Aquaman who breaks the bank, who literally breaks the box office for DC, and then come Aquaman 2 time and you don't start promotion for it earlier than maybe you should have, that speaks volumes on how poor the film possibly is, or just the fact that they've given up on the movie. As it has been rumored over the past couple of days, is that Warner Brothers has given up on Aquaman 2. So, you know, these trailers, the trailer for Aquaman 2 can look decent, you know, but considering everything we've heard about Aquaman, it's just not in a good spot. I mean, this is a movie that has had a groundbreaking amount of reshoots and do-overs. Amber Heard is a problem. You know, Batman being in and out, rumors of Wonder Woman and other Justice League characters supposed to have been in it, but now they're not. It's just one huge mess for this movie. And the fact that every screening they've held for the film has only been met with, negativity. There is nothing about Aquaman that has, for example, when The Flash was getting its test screenings, those were all lies. But clearly, Warner Brothers doesn't even feel like it's worth lying about Aquaman. I mean, they went into The Flash and got people saying, oh, The Flash is the best movie since The Dark Knight. It's the best DC film, or just in general, the best movie since The Dark Knight. And they had all these celebrities hyping up the film. They were even lying about certain celebrities having seen the film, talking about how Tom Cruise saw The Flash and says it's one of the best films he's ever seen. They don't even feel like Aquaman is worthy of the lie. They're not going out of their way to, double down on Aquaman. Hey guys, this is as good as The Dark Knight. Obviously, in one instance, you can say that is mainly because they don't want to, get caught in that same type of situation with The Flash. But they constantly do it. It happened with Blue Beetle, where a ton of people were saying this is the best DC film ever, and look what happened to it. I guess the last thing you'd want to do is do that for Aquaman. Yeah, so let's see. Charles Austin, not excited at all about Aquaman 2. I think a lot of people feel this way about Aquaman 2. I don't think many people are overly excited about it. Of course, if you happen to find yourself in a situation where you are a fan of Aquaman, like maybe if he's your favorite DC character or your favorite comic book character, well, then you're in luck. You're getting the movie. A movie that has been discussed and rumored to have been completely getting canceled or, just canned in some way. You are getting the movie. But for people who have been sticking side by side with DC and watching failure after failure, losing interest and getting confused about where this world is going, I don't blame you and anyone else who aren't excited for Aquaman 2. And really, you do have to think about how much this could actually hurt Warner Brothers. Another financial flop, like that would be 8 DC films in a row that would flop for them, which is just a sign that maybe Warner Brothers shouldn't have the DC brand anymore. But also, I mean, as a company outside of, the IPs that you may own, as a company, that's just, that sucks. That really sucks. Some Schmuck, how's it going, man? Good, how are you, brother? Glad you're here. But where's the comment I was reading here for a second? The Mara part was funny. Yeah, what you see her punch a glass window or something like that, and that was pretty much it. I really am curious how much Mara is going to be in this movie. Mara is cool, right? Having Mara in a movie is cool. Amber Heard as Mara is where it gets tricky and where it gets a little less interesting. I mean, that's one of the few casting decisions that I don't really like with Zack Snyder. Mara, or Amber Heard as Mara, they could have gone somewhere else. There are hundreds of actresses who could have done better than what Amber Heard did with Mara. And I love how in Zack Snyder's Justice League, she has like the old Victorian British accent, but then in the Aquaman film, it's just yeah, Amber, you're really not good at doing accents, so just give me your just regular voice. They completely just forgot about it and gave up on it. They're like, yeah, you know what? Get rid of the accent. You're not that good. But yeah, whether or not she was a huge part of Aquaman, or she is, or was a small part of Aquaman, I wonder what her role is going to be like moving for, like in the rest of the film, now that they've done reshoots and this film has been finished for, what is it, 2 years? So things have definitely been re-edited multiple times. So maybe it's a situation where her 5 minute role gets stripped to 1 minute, or maybe her 15-minute role gets stripped to 5 minutes. Who really knows? We'll have to see if you do choose to see this film. Yep, they were desperate to hide her in the trailer. Brown Destroyer, 100%. I wonder though about Aqualad. Yeah, so obviously, you know how now he has a kid, Aquaman has a kid, and if that kid is Aqualad or something, and you know, Black Manta talks about how I'm gonna murder his entire family and, you know, destroy everything he loves. And what I gotta say 100% is AMD, thank you so much for the $10. Number one fan, thank you. I really appreciate that. That's awesome. Very kind of you. But what was I saying? Yeah, Black Manta. So I saw people saying like they're like, you know, almost in anticipation, you know, would they actually have allowed James Wan to take Black Manta and to like, because we see that shot where his father's house is destroyed, it's burning down, and it's like a question of would they actually kill his father and his child in the film based off of what we saw in the trailer. And I'm gonna say no, they're not going to do that. Now, if they did do that, I will say that could show you how dark DC can still be. But based off of what we saw in Aquaman, and I think one of you actually said it here, it might have been Brown Destroyer again who said this is just gonna be Marvel's DC's Thor: Love and Thunder. And I say this all the time. And it's one of my favorite things to say. So every chance I get to say it, I'm going to say it. Aquaman was a fantastic Marvel movie made by DC. And by what I saw in the trailer of Aquaman 2, it doesn't feel like it's going to be any different. And let's be honest here, they kept that vibe for Aquaman 1. I can't see them changing that vibe for Aquaman 2. They're going to keep it somewhat similar. Charles Austin says, I'm looking forward to a hero's journey, consequences, sacrifice, seriousness, not James Gunn level of putting in jokes. And yeah, whether you like James Gunn or not, I think that is like a fear or a concern that many of us should have is, you know, is that how it's going to be? There's no guarantee that he makes these future films feel like Guardians of the Galaxy or a comedy level film like that, but that is definitely a question that carries a little bit of concern. I will agree with that 100%. But yeah, we'll have to see. We'll have to see. So Where are we here? But I agree. Sacrifice, consequences. I mean, that's why I liked Zack Snyder a lot and what he was doing with DC, because it was different. It was a change, and I appreciated it. Um, Did Warner Brothers do copyright violation on your previous trailer video? Because they do this to other YouTubers. Oh yeah, man. I get copyrighted by Warner Brothers every single time there is a new DC trailer to react to, or if I want to do something with DC content, or even other content that Warner Brothers owns the IP of. It doesn't even need to be DC. This is why Warner Brothers sucks as well. They're not content creator friendly. Also, too, I'll put it from this perspective. I'm not huge. I'm not a big YouTuber. You know, I'm still 2,000 subscribers in. So I obviously am not going to gain that privilege of being able to use their content with no consequences, if you will. But also, I'm not a guy that Warner Brothers would probably want to treat fairly and properly, considering I talk a lot of shit about their company. If I was a bigger YouTuber, I wouldn't be surprised if I was actually blacklisted amongst Warner Brothers. Maybe I'm wrong, who knows, but yeah, there's no way, even if I was a big YouTuber and I was promoting their content with my content on my channel, I would still get copyrighted by them. Everyone gets copyrighted by them because, once again, they're not friendly with content creators. But someone like me especially, if I was bigger and they knew my name, they would not like me. I can tell you that right now. Girls would go watch this movie because of Jason Momoa. 100% that is going to happen. Some schmuck. Yeah, I saw that comment. Bleeding Edge. What's going on, brother? What do you say here? I'm going to destroy everything Aquaman holds dear. Sounds so generic, and yeah, probably will be your run-of-the-mill DC film. Yeah, that's the problem, guys. It does feel very generic. It feels very typical. It feels like I have seen this movie 15 times over. It feels like I've seen this movie so many times. I saw it with Shazam, and I saw it with the first Shazam. I saw it with Harley Quinn Birds of Prey. I saw it with the first Aquaman. It's like a lot of these people just immediately think with superhero films, the only way to make a superhero film is, okay, we need good versus evil, and evil needs to want to destroy everything, but good wants to keep everything intact. Go. That's all these superhero movies are nowadays, and it's boring. There's no flavor to it anymore. And don't even get me started on the beginning of that trailer. The whole, yeah, and I'm a father now and take care of my kid. Oh, and finally found a job. I'm the king of Atlantis. Oh my god. The dialogue is so cringe. It's so cheesy. It's painful. The movie's going to be like that. All the dialogue in the movie is going to sound exactly like that. But like, are we for real here? Did the trailer actually have to be? I said this in my reaction video, but it's literally like, you're probably wondering how I got here. That's what it feels like, Oh, it's a long story. I should probably take you back to the beginning. And then the film like rewinds all the way back. That's what the trailer felt like. I don't know what they were thinking when they did that. Not a good move, though. But yeah. Where did I leave off here with the comments? There's one I saw in particular. Hit that like button, guys, if you can. I greatly appreciate it. Gets this stream out to other people so we can grow this community. Yeah, both Universal and Apple are rumored to make a bid in 2024, April, I believe. I'm okay with either one of them purchasing DC. Yeah, basically, at the end of the day, this company is going to be bought out by the highest bidder. It's either going to be, like you said, Universal, Apple, Amazon. We'll see who else is going to buy it. I've heard some rumors that what could possibly happen is Warner Brothers won't even be sold with DC to someone else. It will be Zaslav who takes the IP of DC and gives DC to somebody else, while Warner Brothers remains a production company on its own. That would be wild, because this would be the first time that DC was ever taken away from Warner Brothers. This would be the first time that DC was belonged to, or is going to be belonging to, a different production studio, which would be massive, because the idea that I think a lot of people have is Warner Brothers and DC as a package deal will go to someone else, but no one's talking about that there's a high chance DC actually leaves Warner Brothers as a whole and goes to another company, because Zaslav is going, it really seems right now like Zaslav is going to strip this company. He's trying to make any income possible, but eventually he's going to want to just get rid of, certain IPs so that they can make a bigger payday, and then maybe Warner Brothers can start back at zero and climb from there if it's possible. But yeah, Universal, Apple, I could definitely see one or both of them being in consideration. Emilia Clarke from Game of Thrones and Secret Invasion, I think, could play a good Mara. That's who should have been Mara from day one. And to be honest with you, when this whole Amber Heard situation came up with Johnny Depp, I think they probably should have just, started early and said, hey, we gotta get Emilia Clarke in as Mara. Emilia Clarke is a great actress, but her as Mara would have been so well suited, and she already has experience working with Jason Momoa from Game of Thrones. They already have like a friendship, so that would have been perfect, and she would have been perfect as Mara. Jack, what's up? What's up, Ty? Have you watched Ahsoka yet? I heard some mixed reviews about it. Nah, man. Nah, that new episode is unreal. One of the best pieces of Star Wars content that I think we have gotten in a long time. The last piece of Star Wars content that I would say is on the level of the episode we just got. Rogue One. I think Rogue One is a fantastic film. It's probably in my top 5 Star Wars films. And that episode is as good as that movie for many different reasons, because there's a different feel to it. But yes, watch it if you haven't, and wait for episode 5, because that episode's really good. You'll love it. I have a suspicion that Aquaman 2 might end up becoming slightly better than what everyone is expecting, which is trash. Yeah, maybe. For example, if I say, Aquaman 2 is going to be a 3 out of 10 movie. Maybe it's a 5. Maybe it somehow finds a way to bounce up to a 6. Who knows, right? The question is what's going to be the general consensus of the film? And I do believe that this movie, of all of the movies, will probably make the most money. But here's the sad thing about it. DC is in a situation, and Warner Brothers, where if a movie makes 300 million worldwide, okay, 350 million worldwide, let's say it even makes what Black Adam made. And what did Black Adam make? It made 370, 80 million. That's the new normal for DC. DC hasn't made a film over $400 million in 7 films. Aquaman might be the 8th. Okay? They haven't been able to get over 400 million. The sad thing is that is now the new normal for Warner Brothers and DC. But let's say that Aquaman does make 350 million or somehow over what Black Adam made at 400 million, 450 million. They are still not making enough money to break even, because this movie's budget was $250 million, and I'm telling you, and counting. I would not be surprised if this movie has a sneaky little budget the way The Flash did, and it costs $300 million. Considering how many reshoots this thing had to go through and how long it's been delayed, I wouldn't be surprised if it's over 300 mil. And 400 million still wouldn't be enough to break even. 450 wouldn't be enough to break even. I don't even know if maybe 500. Like this movie would have to make 500 million. And if this movie is going to make anything at all, if it's going to make over 300 or 400 million dollars, it will, in my opinion, cap out at 5. I don't see this film going over 5. Because, one thing to say about Aquaman is, even though DC is in a really terrible, almost irreversibly unrepairable spot, Aquaman still holds a certain level of, I don't want to say trust, but remembrance. Like, oh yeah, remember that Aquaman movie that made over $1 billion back in 2018? What if this movie maybe isn't great, but has the legs to get somewhere to that point? Like 800 million, 700 million. I think that would be the only reason why it would hit 500 million. I don't think it'll have enough push to get past that. Because once again, like I said, it's just nothing's working for DC right now. So, yeah, the money situation is going to be interesting for this movie, because it has the potential to do just as good as these movies, which is not good at all, or it has the potential to be the highest grossing in a long time. So, I'm not talking $1 billion grossing, but just in a long time. Let's see. Charles says that Gunn is not a competent storyteller. He just doesn't know how to write serious characters. It's not in his wheelhouse. It's as though serious moments make him uncomfortable. Yeah, I don't like how Gunn is good for funny characters, but he's also good for groups of characters. It's not often that Gunn knows how to write singular characters. He doesn't seem to know how to write characters on their own. Yeah, okay, he made the Peacemaker show, Peacemaker's one guy. It's about Peacemaker. But the entire show is filled with other almost damn near main characters. He's not the only main character. Gunn only knows how to write groups of people, not singular people, which is not my only worry, but is one of my worries about Superman. And he's not a guy who anybody would ever peg to be like, dude, James Gunn would be a really good director for Superman. I'm telling you, no one has ever said that. And I mean, James Gunn is also the guy who said a year before he became CEO that he would never touch Superman. He flat out said he would never ever want to do a Superman movie because he finds the character uninteresting. Yeah, what changed? That's James Gunn for you, though. He likes to lie from both sides. So Roman Reigns should play Aquaman if they do another reboot. Dude, it would basically just be Jason Momoa, maybe with not his my man demeanor. But you would basically just be like, that's Jason Momoa. There's just a tinge of a difference to him. If they want to keep it similar, why not? Go for it. DC and Warner Brothers can't do weirder things as it is, so feel free. Gunn should be stuck to Booster Gold type of characters, and he should not be anywhere near charge of DC movies. I mean, it's a bad move being a CEO of a company and then writing and directing a Superman movie. I mean, how much do you want to put on your plate? That's just an unnecessary amount of stuff to do. There's a reason why being a creative and being a director, writer of a film doesn't run Warner Brothers or Universal or any other company out there. Kevin Feige doesn't direct and write all these Marvel movies because he's directing the overall formation of the world. He's not making the movies. That's just way too much unnecessary work, and I wouldn't be surprised if that bites him in the ass. It's too much. Apparently, Comcast, the owner of Universal, is in a lot more debt than Warner Brothers Discovery. Yeah, they are. So I actually know the numbers. Warner Brothers Discovery is $50 billion and counting in Harvey Dent in debt. Comcast is $90 billion in debt. So I don't exactly know what the purchase of Warner Brothers would do for Universal, but for some reason, the discussion and the rumor of Comcast purchasing Warner Brothers or DC hasn't gone anywhere. So I don't know how serious they view their debt or if there's other ways they can pay it off. Like, I have no idea how that works. But that is a good reason that maybe Comcast won't get them. Maybe someone like an Apple or an Amazon will. And Apple, I don't really have an opinion on Apple owning DC. I'm not sure how that would go. Amazon owning DC, though, that's where I would get a little... I want to say a little nervous because there are things that Amazon does that are really good, but then there are things they do that are just really dumb, like really stupid, and not a good look on their company too. So I don't know. We'll see. They're going to get bought again, though. I'm like 99% certain about it. Aquaman may not tank, but it won't do a bill. It may do 400 million. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm going to say Aquaman will do anywhere from 300 to 400 million 500 million tops, and 500 million would shock me. Like, I'm going to be honest with you. If it makes 500 million, I would be in a little bit of disbelief. But yes, I'm going to say 3 to 400 million. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's lower. That's how terrible their situation is right now. All right. Where are we? The movie looked cool until I saw a buddy partner brother scenario, and I know it'll play for laughs. Yes. Yes, a million times yes. That's exactly what the trailer showed. Like, especially that part where he's like, "Don't call me brother." You know, don't call me brother. You know, there's just gonna be a bunch of jokes there. Aquaman's being like, "No, come on, brother. You got this. We got this together. We can team up. Don't call me brother." And even that part where Aquaman like runs into a wall and collapses the statue, hits his stomach, and he's laughing. That's what it's going to be. It's going to be all about, like, you know, family. So, not really interested in that. And I mean, like, this Aquaman, the characterization of this Aquaman isn't suited for that tone. Like, that's blech. Blech. Gross. If Warner Brothers' intention was to bring a gun in so they can have profitability, well, then they have failed that mission. Well, they haven't been profitable since he became co-CEO. And I'm sorry, you know, I'll say this. We can rag on James Gunn all day, but let's take it over to the other co-CEO, Peter Safran. Come on. Like, you have a producer who just does fail after fail, tank after tank, bomb after bomb. He's not a good producer. He doesn't supply you with financial successes. And I'll be honest with you, I know he did the Conjuring universe for a little bit. I don't know what type of money the Conjuring world made under him. I don't know what type of money it did. Good or not, I don't really care, because that's not the universe that will connect or compare to the DC universe. Like, it's a completely different playing field there. So I don't care how good he did in a horror world. So far, his track record in DC has been piss poor. So not only do you have a co-CEO in James Gunn, who is already very controversial, but you have a financial co-CEO in Peter Safran, who's just terrible. Like, I would argue he's worse than James Gunn. He's the worst option beside James Gunn. Just a terrible idea to put that guy in charge. But I guess knowing people and getting on your knees helps you in this type of work, this type of field. How the fuck does it cost 400 million to make a movie that's gonna be mid? Possibly. What a disaster. A disaster indeed. Yeah, the budget, if you go online and look, I'm pretty sure the budget, $220 million. But you have to imagine, with all the reshoots, delays, and everything this film has gone through that we don't know, and even the trades, like all the Hollywood Reporter sites, all they don't know, this movie is potentially going upwards of $300 million in budget, which is awful. After Gal Gadot, Momoa is the most popular DCEU actor, plus his film made it the most by far. If Aquaman 2 does well, Gunn might use Momoa as his Aquaman, as well as the rumored use of Gadot in his Wonder Woman. Yeah, which is, I think, so here's the thing. Even whether or not this movie does good or bad, Momoa is apparently still supposed to be in the future of DC. But the question is Is it as Aquaman? And like all signs point to it not being Aquaman. It's going to be Lobo, apparently, which is just going to add into the confusion that everybody already has about this new DCU. Is it a reboot? Is it not a reboot? Is it a soft reboot? Is it a hard reboot? Dumb. Big dumb. Dumb brain. Gunn told us exactly what his Superman will be. A big galoot. Yeah, meaning an idiot, a dumbass, and he'll use Lois to make him look stupid. I know. There's a lot of things he's already said about this film that, like, I'm just not looking forward to. And also, too, when I was saying earlier about how James Gunn doesn't often know how to write singular characters, he writes groups of characters. That would have changed with Superman. That is until he's now involving every fucking superhero under the sun. So now it's a group film again, because he knows that's like the only way he can make things interesting. More likely, DCU would do a separate Wonder Woman and Aquaman universe as they are doing with Batman. Juan said in the interview he was building 7 separate kingdoms. You could make Aquaman. You could make Aquaman like its own Elseworld story, and you give him a trilogy of movies, and there's 3 Aquaman films. You could do that. I just don't know how many people would be interested in Aquaman in an Elseworld setting instead of a connected universe setting. So I don't know how that would go down. Oh, yeah, I agree. Jack says James Gunn doing Superman doesn't mean he lied. It's more like they paid him more money to make him do it. Unless there's a story I'm missing, just sounds like the money's talking. That's 100% what they did. He probably got a massive payday. Money talks. Because at the same, I think it's around the same time he was asked if he would ever do a Superman movie, and he said never because he's not interested in characters like that. He also stated, someone asked him if he would ever like a Kevin Feige job, like leading a Marvel Cinematic Universe. And he responded with never, something about like never in my life would I ever want a job like that. So like obviously running a DC universe is not a passion of his. This is not something he's ever wanted to do. But the money talked. That's all it is. That's all this is about. The money was loud. So. Yeah. Who knows? Oh, Jack with the $2. Thank you, brother. Really appreciate that, man. Thank you so much. Really kind of you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Where am I here? Ginfinity, hey, what's going on? Jake Taylor, T-Man, what's going on, brother? I do like Roman Reigns more as Aquaman, not gonna lie. He would do a solid job. Like, it wouldn't be terrible at all. That wouldn't be bad. I like it. Pam Abdi and Mike DeLuca was ready to go. The Man of Steel 2 script was already written. Cavill was back. They were just waiting on the go-ahead to get it going. I mean, what a missed opportunity, you know, bringing... I don't want to you know... beat a dead horse here. I don't want to go in circles and constantly talk about what a terrible idea it was not bringing back Henry Cavill as Superman, because we all know this is a stupid situation. But what I will say is, you know, even what's his name? The guy who does, is it Christopher McQuarrie who does the Mission Impossible films? apparently him and Henry Cavill like pitched a Man of Steel 2 idea to the studio, and it was going to heavily involve, whoa, Jin, brother, buddy, did you just give me $69.99, my guy? Bro, that is too kind of you, man. You did not have to do that, man. Thank you so much. That is so nice. You like 69? Dude, thank you so much, man. Very nice of you. You're gonna make me cry. Holy crap, thanks, brother. I really appreciate that. You know what? Honestly, though, this is the least I can do. Round of applause to Jin. If anyone, seeing this, round of applause. The number 69, fantastic number. But Jin, you're a real one, brother. Thank you so much, man. That's awesome. And thank you to anyone who, donates anything to me in the first place. It's not necessary, but thank you. I appreciate the support. Jin, once again, I can't thank you enough, man. But yeah, sorry, Charles, what I was saying there is, according to Christopher McQuarrie, it was going to heavily tie into Man of Steel. And, he also said something about how the studio would rather go with what James Gunn is going to do. If anything is apparent, DC is trying to copy Marvel's success. And in Marvel's success, it's very campy. It's very, lighthearted and generic. That is what Marvel does. And I would not be surprised if the future of DC has that kind of vibe to it. And maybe that's why they weren't going to go with McQuarrie's script and Henry Cavill's script and idea, because it would have felt maybe too much like what Zack did in his DC films, and they want to go lighter. So yeah, I don't know. Randy O'Donnell, what do you say here? Legacy may be delayed for years. Campia reacted to these rumors the other day. Campia wants the film to go ahead even though he says it'll flop. Dude, I don't know what's up Campia's ass. Maybe it's James Gunn up his ass. I don't know. Because I'm telling you right now, John Campia would never, ever, 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 ever allow that excuse for any other director. Nobody. But for some reason, it is A-okay. It's A-okay for James Gunn. This is a movie that I 100% think we're going to start to hear soon. Delays for James Gunn's Superman Legacy. The release date will no longer be July of 2025. It's going to be very late 2025 or somewhere in the first half of 2026. Okay? But, he literally, I saw the video. I'm not sure if this is the exact one you're talking about, the video you're talking about, but the one I saw was he talked about how, Superman Legacy can release. It can make 400 million worldwide. It can bomb, but that's good though. That's okay. Let the movie bomb because Tyrell's an INTJ mastermind. Oh, thanks, Jen. Peace, brother. Glad to have you here. Hopefully you can make it back near the end of the stream. But yeah, apparently, like, that's okay that it'll bomb, because what it'll do is it'll get people more invested into DC, seeing that they made a Superman movie and that the future of DC is just going to keep on continuing. So even though Superman had to bomb, the future of his movies will do better. Like, Campia, shut your goddamn mouth, bro. Just shut up. Like, you know, unfortunately, we live in a world where we give stupid people the opportunity to speak, and Campia is one of those stupid people who has the opportunity to speak, because that is like the most nonsense thing I ever heard. If that is not mental gymnastics to support a guy that you clearly have a hard on for no good reason at all, I don't know what is. I don't know what is. You know, yeah, you know what? Let's have the future of DC continue to flop, because the more flops they'll have, the more success they'll have later on. Nonsense. He's a moron. He speaks out of his ass. Bruh. Yeah, Campia who? Exactly. Dumb. What did James Gunn do again? I don't know. Well, really not anything. He hasn't really been doing anything. He's been quite silent lately, which is probably a really good thing. He probably needs to be more silent more often instead of being on Twitter and online all day, every day. Yeah. Guys, if you're in the chat right now, if you're watching the stream, if you don't mind, hit that like button. I'd greatly appreciate it. It really helps the algorithm. Unfortunately, that is how YubTub works. Yeah, precisely, Brown Destroyer. It's not John Campia's money, shareholders, so he can say stupid shit. Yeah, that is precisely the problem. He doesn't have anything to worry about. He doesn't need to worry about losing money on these productions, you know? I mean, losing money on these productions is exactly why it's exactly why Warner Brothers stock price is down to $11 right now. I always love checking when we're on stream. I always love checking exactly where they are. Warner Brothers stock, because it always fluctuates. It's up and down. The last time I checked, it was like the shortest or the smallest amount I've ever seen. Warner Brothers stock. Let's see. It was like $11 last time I checked. Yep, last time I checked, it was $11.90. Today they're at $11.83. They are at $11.83. $11.83, man. That, like, if you want, any of us right now, if we wanted to, could just go put in some stock money into Warner Brothers, and we'd be fine. You know, it would be our money they're losing, though. So, if Superman Legacy is delayed a year, a buyout likely will be underway in the meantime. If so, everything will be put on hold, and specifically Superman Legacy. Yeah, I wouldn't even be surprised if Superman Legacy, DC, almost forgot the name of the company. I wouldn't be surprised if DC and Warner Brothers, or like I said earlier, we don't really know. Is it DC and Warner Brothers, or is it just DC? Is Zaslav gonna strip IPs from Warner Brothers and sell DC in one direction and another thing in another direction? You know, Harry Potter over here, Lord of the Rings and Middle-earth over here, right? But regardless, the idea of a sell, right, of this IP getting purchased. Oh my goodness, my light. I think there's even a possibility it gets purchased maybe next summer. I have an idea that like maybe next summer they could be like Zaslav, because Zaslav, he's the type of guy that 100% will say things just to say things because he wants to make this company look as good as possible. He wants them to be in the best light as possible, even if they're not there yet. But then all of a sudden, he turns his back the next day and does something else. So I wouldn't be surprised if next summer there's a purchase like on its way, or they've already confirmed a purchase that will move forward in 6 months or something. Next summer I could see it happening. Do you think they hired Gunn to be their fall guy? I don't know. I don't know. Uh it's a possibility. I mean, it's quite interesting though, because if that's the case, Gunn never took me as a guy who would be a fall guy. And I'll say that because I think Gunn's ego is way too big to ever accept himself being a fall guy. So the money had to be good. The money that he accepted to run this studio had to have been good enough for him to potentially be a fall guy. Like Zaslav, let's say for example, he brings him in, he's like, hey, we want you to be the CEO of DC Studios. You're gonna be our fall guy. Nothing's ever gonna happen, but we need you to manage the company like something will actually happen. You know, maybe, how much money are you offering me? Oh, we'll offer you X amount of dollars. Okay, that will do. I don't know. Maybe he could be a fall guy, maybe not. I'm not exactly sure. I don't know. There's a possibility. I wouldn't put it past them though. Because then the question is, if DC gets bought out by somebody else, when they acquire it, will that company want to move forward with James Gunn's plan? Will they even keep James Gunn? Or with the purchase, will James Gunn immediately be obsolete? Or will James Gunn go to this new company and then that new company can choose if they want to keep him on? I don't really know. Because you also have to think here as well, with James Gunn's contract as co-CEO of DC, he has 5 years, and I'm pretty sure by the time Legacy would come out, he would be 3 or 4 years into his deal. So, and at that point, he'll only have 1 or 2 projects under his belt. So maybe they planned it well enough to make him the fall guy. The fact that Gunn talked shit about the Dark Knight trilogy is insane, especially if people still support his slate. Yeah, so it's actually really interesting when all that stuff came out about Gunn completely ripping on Christopher Nolan's Batman movies, and then when he ripped on Tim Burton's Batman movies and literally had the audacity to say F everybody who took part in those movies, which is just awful. Like, that's just a big scumbag thing to say. Then again, Gunn is used to saying scumbag things. But, first of all, how does that look on a CEO running DC who's only said bad things about DC in the past? Not a good look. But I love how Gunn can constantly say stuff like this, but his fan base were like quote tweeting these statements that he has said, and they were all like, to be honest with you guys, I actually really appreciate this. I personally don't agree with Mr. Gunn. But I gotta be honest with you. I really appreciate a CEO who's very outspoken and he's very opinionated and he sticks to his guns. He has all the right in the world to say this. Yes. But all of a sudden, all of a sudden, if someone like Zack Snyder did that, or Christopher Nolan acted in this way, even the Russo brothers, anybody who ever directed a Marvel film, if anybody else did that, they'd get scolded. But James Gunn can do it, and it's okay to have an opinion. It's very hypocritical, and that is how everyone acted. It's how everybody acted when James Gunn's statements about those Batmans came out. You know what? This is oh, round of applause to James Gunn. Oh, he is such a good man. That is how everyone acts towards him, and I don't get it. It's brutal. If I was a conspiracy theorist, I would say that Gunn is a Disney spy to take down competition. Well, you know what? To be completely honest with you, I honestly believe that is what Joss Whedon was. I think Joss Whedon was that plant inside of Warner Brothers to take down DC and destroy Zack's vision, who then all of a sudden everyone started to think Zack Snyder was the villain when, you know, he was just mourning the loss of his daughter, but somehow he's the villain, right? Okay. Backwards way of thinking, and it just shows how a lot of people jump the bandwagon. They see one thing being said and they jump it. They say, oh, that is the truth, even though a lot of the times it couldn't be any farther from the truth. So Diesel Demon, thanks, man. $5. Keep it up. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that. It's very nice of you. Thank you. Guys, once again, thank you for all the donations tonight and the support. It's been great. And honestly, if you can't be supporting me that way, thanks for just being here. Thanks for commenting. Thanks for joining these conversations. This is great. This is fun. Let's see. Hi, Vincenzo from Italy. Long way away. Thank you for being here. Yeah, man. Yes. I never knew anything about Gunn before his interview with Michael. What's his, I can't remember his last name right now, but the guy who played Lex in Smallville. My God, Gunn is an egomaniac. He is. Even in like some interviews you see him in, he's just so egotistical. He is. Do I think he's a solid filmmaker? Yes. That doesn't take away from who you are as a person. Gunn fans in Twitter before Gunn's comment, Nolan's Batman and Michael Keaton's are the best. Zack Snyder doesn't understand Batman. After Gunn's comment, his fans, Gunn is right, those Batman sucks. Yeah, people don't have a brain. People don't have a mind for themselves. People don't know how to support their own ideals and their own opinions. This is why when somebody like James Gunn can come around, a guy like him are capable of, you know, being able to do whatever they want with the brand, and they're capable of taking a lot of these short-minded and short-sighted people into their grasp and controlling the way they think. And unfortunately, that is another problem the DC community has, is nobody can think for themselves. They just cling on to the first thing they see. If they would have let Zach cook, Man of Steel and Batman vs. Superman alone would have been enough to surpass Marvel. Well, I also think, I also think, guys, that if there wasn't so much studio, like, if the studio's fingers weren't all over this brand, I actually don't think Zack would have gone right for Batman vs Superman. I think he would have done Man of Steel too. I think he would have. Even though I love Batman vs Superman, and I will defend that movie till the death. I do not care. I think he would have done Man of Steel too, but the studio was like, no, do Batman vs Superman. Now, the rest is history. We saw what happened. Hero. Oh, yeah. Joss Whedon was in cahoots with Jeff Johns. Two garbage people. The best thing Jeff Johns has ever done was write comic books, and even then, some of his comic books are doo-doo. And Joss Whedon, well, I mean, there's truth behind him being a jackass. So, two trash people coming together to create a trash situation? Oh, who knew? Who knew that would ever happen? Oh my God. Really? Stuff like that can happen? Oh man. I thought when you take two bad things, a good thing comes from it. No, it's not the saying? Oh, okay. All right. You learn something new every day. They literally took story beats from Batman vs. Superman and applied them to Civil War. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the story... I'm pretty sure the story is that Marvel and Disney found out DC was doing Batman vs. Superman, and they knew how big the spectacle of a movie like that would be. It's the two first superheroes ever created in history. So they needed to do something to compete with that, and then they made Captain America Civil War. From my understanding, Captain America Civil War was never in Kevin Feige's phase plans. I don't think they were ever planning on really doing that, and that's what happened. I mean, business-wise, it's smart to make something to compete with it, but I wouldn't be surprised if there was a little bit more to it. Some rumblings and some talk in the background. Big names are rumored to star in B&B, Brave and the Bold, I assume, and The Authority. Superman gets an unknown in Cornsweet who may look the role, but has not generated any excitement. Nobody is talking about it. Nobody is talking about Cornsweet as Batman. Or, sorry, Superman. See, that's how forgettable it is. I forgot he was casted as Superman. I thought it was Batman. Nobody's talking about it. Nobody was talking about it when it was announced. Nobody was talking about it after. Nobody's talking about it now. Even on social media, the only people who were talking about it was hardcore comic book fans. That's it. That's the only people who were talking about it. So, and if they start casting for Brave and the Bold and Blue Beetle, I would not be surprised. Dude, Blue Beetle, I'm cluing in right now. I got this B&B so mixed up. Brave and the Bold and The Authority. My God, if they start casting for Brave and the Bold and Authority now, it's because they're trying to get ahead of the fact that the DCU is coming to a close already. And if they do get sold, they want to try and make enough progress where a new studio can't shut them down. But I doubt that will happen, especially right now, because you can't talk with actors. You can't make those decisions. Yeah, Warner Brothers rushed him to introduce Batman. He still did good with what he had. Couldn't agree more. 100%. I love his take on Batman. And Ben Affleck, my God, did he prove everybody wrong. He killed it, bro. He killed it. He would have done Man of Steel 2, a Batman movie, then Batman vs. Superman, I think. I think so too. Um, I still don't think Zack Snyder would have followed the Marvel, like he would have conformed to the Marvel view of it, doing all these solo projects than a team up project. I still think he would have done different things, but yes, a solo Batman, a solo two Supermans, I think he would have potentially done, and then a Batman Superman crossover. I agree. Oh my god, Hero, I remember that. Captain America 3 was changed after it was Serpent Society. I completely forgot about that, man. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I remember the rumors coming out about what it was supposed to be, and then yeah, it changed. It changed after. Uh Yep, original plan was for Man of Steel 2 right after Man of Steel. There was a script being worked on. Snyder toes the studio line, and later Batman vs. Super. Yeah. Yep. Not surprised. Yep. Um. Mm-hmm. Lex, Batman, and Superman in Civil War, Captain America, Iron Man, and Zemo. Tell me that's not a coincidence. I won't tell you it's not a coincidence because it's certainly, yeah, yeah, dumb. Sean Franklin, hey buddy, what's going on? The Storm, hello everyone, just saw the live. What's up, brother? Glad you're here. Uh, MCU fans don't want to hear that. They think that everything was planned beforehand, but really was quite different. They make up as they go along. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige, what was it? He had 5 years planned or something like that. Like when they did Iron Man 1, they kind of went as they went, and then eventually he hit 5 years planned ahead because they knew it was working. But they've been around. Do the math. They've been around for 15 years now, so 5 years isn't 15 years. Have you played Mortal Kombat 1? No, but I do want to play it. Something about Mortal Kombat 1 though isn't exciting for me the way other Mortal Kombats have been. I think it's because I just wish NetherRealm was doing Injustice 3. I really think it was the perfect time to do so, but they didn't do it. Batman vs Superman should have made 1.5 billion plus. Yeah, Batman vs Superman should have made over a billion in general. I think Batman vs Superman is a type of movie, in my opinion, that does deserve to be over 1.5 billion. I think it had the potential to do so, but I think the cards were stacked against DC. I think there was a lot in the media, paid reviews, people against Snyder and DC. I'm just losing connection out here. Okay, just lost some connection, but I got them back. All right, sorry about that, guys. That was really weird. Yeah, very strange. I don't know what happened there. Uh, but yeah, so the 1.5 billion with Batman vs Superman, I could have seen Batman vs Superman getting more money, but like I said, a lot of things were put against them. So it is a situation where not everything was completely fair for them. I do honestly believe Rotten Tomatoes was paid to give the movie the score it had, which is an abysmal score. And yeah, sorry guys, I don't know what happened. I randomly lost internet connection. I don't know why, but it just completely crapped out on me and then I got it back. Really weird. Sorry about that. All right, where were we here after that comment? Affleck is Batman. He's the perfect embodiment of the character, especially the Kevin Conroy iteration in the animated series. Yeah, Ben Affleck is, I mean, Zack Snyder killed it with that casting. I got to be honest with you here. Never would I have thought to have Ben as Batman, and he brought him along. They casted him. I remember sitting here and thinking like, I don't know, is it a good call? Oh my god, was it a good call? It was great. It was awesome. Um I agree. Even the bat suit, I wasn't a fan of it when the last picture came out. Now it's my favorite suit and favorite Bruce Wayne. Yeah, that's the thing. Like, I think Ben Affleck captured Batman and Bruce Wayne. He didn't just do one, he did both, you know? And his bat suit is perfectly molded for him, you know? Right size, good like mouth opening for the cowl, the ears. I've always been a pointy ear Batman. I've never been the small ear Batman, but it's perfect for him. The armored bat suit is so damn cool. Everything about it's beautiful. That extra 30 minutes Warner Brothers decided to cut out cost them an extra 150 million in profits, which would have taken Batman vs Superman over a billion. 100%. And what did they decide to do after that? After they realized their mistake? Oh, let's do the same thing to Suicide Squad. So stupid, man. They got to be the dumbest company, the dumbest studio in history when it comes to decisions like this. It's a shame Affleck didn't get a solo movie. Reviews of his Batman vs Superman performance and Godot's were positive. Cavill not so much. Cavill, in my opinion, was the weak link in the films. Yeah. So here's what I'll say. I love Henry Cavill's Superman. He's my favorite Superman of all time. I love Man of Steel. I love Batman vs Superman. And even though I love what they did with Superman in Batman vs. Superman, they needed to give him more lines. I'm pretty sure Superman in that movie has like I think it's something like under 40 lines or something like that. He does not have many lines in that film. I don't really know why. But yeah, that is something I will say. In Batman vs Superman, he needed to talk more. He definitely did. I don't know. And once again, though, maybe that's just like a Warner Brothers issue. I don't really know. Who knows? But yeah, he did need to talk more in that film. Why do you think that Hollywood is so anti-Snyder? Is it because his movies are not so in-your-face political message type? That could definitely be it. Um, I also think Hollywood genuinely doesn't like good people, and nothing has ever told me that Zack Snyder is a bad person. Also, too, I don't think the whole I hate using this term, the Snyder cult. I don't think having all his Snyder fans helped his situation, because now it makes Zack Snyder an easy topic of controversy, and it makes it easy to attack him for things he doesn't even do. You know, he doesn't control them. He's got no stake in what they do, you know, but that could be a reason why maybe Hollywood doesn't like him. Also, too, say for example, oh my god, this light. Say for example, a production company releases a product, a movie, a show, and a video game. Okay, one of those three. And let's say that movie, show, game is not good. Okay, it's not good to the point where it's like outrageous fans coming for you. And I'm not saying that every, like blaze of fury fan is coming at you gracefully, but there's a reason, because you put out a bad product, you did, and you still did it. What happened was the movement for Zack Snyder's film and restoring the Snyderverse and stuff. It has created a wave of people who realize that, hey, we talk with money, we speak with our wallets. We will not speak with our wallet if you continue to do stupid stuff like this. So give us good stuff. Give us what we deserve. And that was Zack Snyder's Justice League. And I think a lot of these studios have gotten scared that that is what the influence of Zack Snyder had on people. And they don't like that. Kev, what's up? Nice setup, by the way. Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Hopefully gonna grow it a little bit more from here. But thanks for being here and enjoy the show. Where we leave off here. Oh yeah, I heard Rotten Tomatoes paid a specific company to give better scores for smaller movies. Yeah, well, a PR team close to Rotten Tomatoes came out recently and said that for years they've been paying people to give good or bad reviews for specific movies and brands. I always knew Rotten Tomatoes was shitty. Everyone did. And we're finally seeing it. I wouldn't be surprised if you see the downfall of Rotten Tomatoes. This is why I don't listen to Rotten Tomatoes, never have. I only go off of IMDb. IMDb to me is the real thing. More often than not, I should say. I loved Batflick. The killing has been meh for me, but Zack Snyder's Justice League Batman is my favorite. Ben does a good job. And that's completely fair. I completely understand it. I don't mind Batman killing. Mainly because I'm open to all interpretations of characters. I really don't care. Would my Batman kill? No, he wouldn't. But off of the story that Zack Snyder built, I'm okay with it. I think it's fine. Because we all know at the end of the day, he's not going to be a killer. He's going to change his ways. The difference between Warner Brothers and Netflix is that even though they make shitty choices sometimes, Netflix has a loyal fan base and makes money. Yes, and they're also the OG streaming service, so the chances of them losing people are slim to none. Whereas everybody else has tried to make streaming services after them, and they've all realized that at the end of the day, after they've watched the particular series that they've wanted to watch, they realize that, oh, this platform doesn't really have anything else I like to rewatch, binge watch, or watch again. But Netflix does. And that's why all the time Netflix will beat out these other streaming services. This is why HBO Max loses subscribers every day. Disney Plus loses subscribers every day, especially when the only reason why people watch them is for Star Wars and Marvel. And when there's no more Star Wars and Marvel, what are you going to watch? No one cares. There is a YouTube channel, Movie Talk, now that has Batflick's solo movie with AI showing the story. Oh, so like, is it like the script Ben Affleck had made and like the AI is making the images or something? Interesting. I wish Cavill's Superman combated Zod's beliefs on humanity. Overall, I love Man of Steel. Yeah, I love Man of Steel too. It is and I see your comment down there, Ken. I'm a huge Snyder fan. Good man. That's what I like to hear. He's fantastic. Oh, and the 279 from Ken. Thank you, brother. I really appreciate it. I'm going to get to that comment in 1 second, but just really quickly, yes, Z Productions, I agree. Man of Steel, it's in my top 5 favorite films of all time. It sits at number 2, just behind The Dark Knight. But Ken says, what are your thoughts on James Gunn taking over Warner Brothers? No. That's as simple as I can put it. No, I don't like it. I thought at the beginning it was okay because we all know that James Gunn made Guardians of the Galaxy. They're solid films. His Suicide Squad to me is just an excuse to make gory, childish, sexual humor, and Peacemaker is pretty much just the same thing on a smaller scale, even though I don't mind the Peacemaker story. I am not a fan of James Gunn taking over DC as co-CEO. I don't think and I know you, Ken, your favorite character is Superman. I don't think him handling a Superman movie is a good idea. I don't think him casting David Cornsweet as Superman instead of just keeping Henry when that's what the fan base wanted. It's also not a good idea. There's just so many things. There's so many things James Gunn has did that is apparently wrong. Like it's, you can see it with your own eyes. There's way too much for me to talk about all in one sitting without having everyone here be like, all right, Tyrell, we've already heard this before. But yeah, my answer is it's not a good move. AMD, you said it earlier, maybe he's a fall guy. I don't really know. I'm pretty dead set on the fact that I don't think we will ever see James Gunn's DCU. I don't actually think it will ever happen. If we ever get anything from James Gunn's DCU, it will be Superman Legacy. And that's probably it. Of course, with his Creature Commandos TV show as well. But that's it. That's even a big reason why I don't really make much DCU related content on the channel either, because I don't know how viable it is. I don't want to get my hopes up, and I'm just really not that interested in what's being said about the universe moving forward. So, long answer to your question, my thoughts on James Gunn taking over DC, I don't like it, personally. And I just don't think it's going to work out. And for you being a big Superman fan, like I said, I don't know if you're going to like what he's going to do. Because I don't think a lot of people who really appreciate DC are going to like what he's going to do. James Gunn fans will love it. But other than that, I don't know. But once again, thanks for the 279, man. I really appreciate that. Keep what you're doing. Keep up what you're doing. You're doing a good job. Thanks, Brown Destroyer. And thank you for being here on pretty much every stream. I appreciate that. From 1980, canonical Batman and DC Comics. Yeah, Batman killed in DC Comics. He killed criminals. He did. Yeah, he's killed criminals all over history. 100%. You know, obviously it's personal preference. Do you like it? Do you not like it? That's up to you. But yes, he has. There's no denying that. So you are right. I agree. Money talks. Question though, are you going to buy the Zack Snyder's trilogy coming out this August? Yeah, I might just do that. You know, Warner Brothers, they hate Zack Snyder. They really don't want to support anything he does. but they have no problem repackaging his films and selling it because they know that's the only thing that sells. They have no problem asking him to help them support Blue Beetle because their own co-CEO and James Gunn can't get it done. So, oh man, Zack Snyder is a much bigger man than I would be in this situation, because I would tell Warner Brothers to go screw themselves, man. God. Snyder movies felt cinematic and something unique. Yeah, I agree 100%. And Ken, no problem. Thanks for the response, brother. No problem at all. Thanks for the 279. Once again, thank you. And thanks for being here. Appreciate it. Yeah, Batman was killing back in the 30s and 40s. He absolutely was. Oh my god, yeah. Suicide Squad was just like the movie Super he made. Didn't he say in his comments about the Dark Knight trilogy and Michael Keaton and Tim Burton's Batman that his like Super movie is like 100 times better than Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy? Once again, this guy's ego is on another level. It's on a level called delusion. That's where his ego is. Nobody else is on that level. But he is. He found himself on a delusional level of ego. He's a goddamn fool. I've seen Super. Super's okay. Rainn Wilson, I obviously love him. That guy's Dwight freaking Schrute. The Office, one of my favorite shows of all time. Maybe my literal favorite show of all time. But Super is not that great. It's super mediocre. You know what? Hashtag super mediocre. There you go. Get that hashtag going. Gun. Let's see. I think it's pretty clear James Gunn was the last choice for Zaslav, but I'd rather have him have his own corner of DC instead of spearheading the DC universe. I'm open to Superman Legacy changing my mind. Sure, I agree with you 100%. I don't think he should be leading a DC universe. If he comes out with Legacy and it's good, I'll be proven wrong. I have no problem being proven wrong because at the end of the day, that's more content for my channel. You know what I mean? So it's a win-win for me. It's a win if he fails and I can say, hey guys, I told you so. I didn't want to have to tell you so, but I did. But it's a win if he wins because then I get to say, oh, Gunn proved me wrong, and now I get to make content on what might be an interesting future for DC. But yeah, I agree with you, though. I have a lot of my doubts. The Peacemaker series was goofy, but I like John Cena because they actually gave him an arc. He had a great backstory as to why he became what he became. Charles Austin, I agree with you. I do. Peacemaker, I thought was a good show. Suicide Squad, not really a great movie, but Peacemaker, good show. I didn't mind it. Yeah, Randy says scary thing. Cornswet plays a galoot perfectly. Gunn wrote script for for the particular actress playing Lois, Brosnan or whatever her name is. She will be a dominant character, and the star Cornswet is going to be more of like, oh hey Lois, do you not see me over here? You just stepped over me. You know, that is what it's going to be. 100%. James Gunn is going to try and hit you with this humor. Look at this idiot try and chase a girl that doesn't pay him any mind. That's what it's going to be. How long until DC movies make money again outside of Elseworlds, The Batman and Joker 2? I can't give you a time frame on that because I don't think a time frame on that actually exists. I don't think that time frame ends with Superman Legacy. I think right now DC movies can only make money with Elseworld stories. And the funny thing about this, the Batman will make money, whether it's tied for its 770 million or if the second one makes 800, 900 million, maybe a billion. The Joker 2, that's the outlier. That's the interesting one. We can all say, oh, the Joker 2 will make over a billion. 100%. It's got Joaquin Phoenix again. Plays a great Joker. We're bringing in Lady Gaga. She's playing Harley Quinn. And it's a musical. Oh, there it is. Musical. That's why I don't think it's going to make a billion. I don't think enough people are interested in that. Obviously, you'll see a lot of musical heads and maybe even women who want to check out that movie because they might like musicals. They love, especially women, they love Lady Gaga, right? Although you're going to lose a lot of comic book fans who aren't necessarily interested in a musical, and you're going to lose a lot of people who loved what the first one was. Now knowing the second one is going to be a musical, I just think the fact that the majority of the film is a musical is going to lose a lot of people. I won't be surprised if it doesn't make a billion. So we'll see. Where are we here? Former Warner Brothers executive Greg Silverman said that Zack Snyder's DC movies are highly profitable in Twitter and responding to one fan. Yeah, and then no one wants to listen to that though. You're literally having a former I'm pretty sure he was like CEO, wasn't he? Telling you that Zack Snyder has always been profitable. He said the only film that wasn't profitable for Warner Brothers was that animated owl movie. I forgot what that movie series was called, but he said that was the only one that kind of lost the money. But other than that, he's always been profitable. So who are we to argue with a co-CEO or a co-executive? After seeing the list of movies presented in the moment, I totally lost interest in the DCU and James Gunn's plan for the new DC universe. 100%. I agree. Like Creature Commandos, I could care less. The Waller Show, I could care less and don't even think it's going to happen. The Green Lantern Show is the only thing I'm really looking forward to. Superman Legacy, not interested, especially with him in charge. Batman Brave and the Bold, I'm not interested. I'd rather stick with Robert Pattinson and Matt Reeves' Batman. Paradise Lost, what's it got to do with no Wonder Woman? Don't really care at the moment. You know, there's just so much I don't care about. Swamp Thing is cool, but like, why now? Why would he be starting your universe? They just seem like they're trying to be different. They're trying to be too different, you know? And they're not giving you reasons on why. They're just doing it. Just to see. Who do you think should run DC? Well, Brown Destroyer has a really good comment under yours where he says Zack Snyder, Grant Morrison, Christopher Nolan. That would be a solid trio. That would actually be kind of deadly. Snyder will only work on DC again if it's sold to somebody else and they offer him an opportunity. Grant Morrison, I have no idea if he's interested in film. And Christopher Nolan says that he never is going to work on superhero content ever again. I actually don't have an answer for you. I genuinely don't. Because I don't know if there is a real answer. I think everyone offers their own interesting take on DC, and some better than others. And it's just a matter of what they're willing to offer. With James Gunn, we can come to an assumption that it won't be the best, although we still don't fully know what he'll offer. And we still don't know what he'll offer because there isn't many details on the future. It's just a list of projects happening with no information. This is happening, this is happening, this is happening. See you in 2.5 years. So, I personally do not have a flat out answer for you. A lot of people here are saying Zach, Christopher Nolan, and I don't blame you 100%. Someone here says even Zack Snyder and James Gunn. Maybe that would be a tandem. I don't know. I just don't think it's James Gunn on his own. I think Robert Pattinson's Batman 2 will make money. It will. Yep. I have doubt about Superman Legacy making money. So do I. I don't think it's going to make much. Ooh, wow. I feel like Superman Legacy is going to make 700 million if Aquaman 2 does good and if they push the restart in the marketing. If everything flops, it's not making 600 million. 700 million, that's huge. James Gunn will have to pull something out of his ass for that movie to make 700 million and more. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just going to say I don't think so. I don't think that's a possibility. Really enjoy your live stream. Recently found it. Do you stream every Friday evening? I try to stream once a week at the very least. Sometimes they jump around Wednesdays, Thursdays, Fridays. I do try to keep them as consistent as possible. There's just certain weeks where a night works better than another. But regardless, I will say once a week at the least. And when I do go live, I will always put up on my community post when I'm going live. If you do want to know too, you can always keep on notifications and stuff so you can stay up to date when I post a video or something. But I'm glad you like the stream. I'm glad you recently found it. I'm glad you're here, and it's good to see you here. So yeah, we're gonna keep it going as much as possible. How about David S. Goyer running the DCU? He's a solid writer who understands the viewpoint of Nolan and Snyder. He does. But Goyer will be hit with the same controversy that Snyder will, considering he wrote Man of Steel. He co-wrote Man of Steel. Yeah, well, I don't even know if it's so much Goyer makes fun of DC fans. Maybe he does, but he makes fun of the brand because of how ridiculous its fall has been. That DC's fall has been atrocious and funny. Just imagine the jokes about trunks if Gunn has Superman wear them. I'm sure he will, so it can be a running gag in Superman Legacy. I know, this is the thing. Like, I can just see James Gunn writing Superman Legacy, giggling to himself about Superman's trunks. I can see it. I don't like it, and I can see it. Like a giddy little kid. Oh, God. Claymores, hey, what's up, brother? Superman Legacy will be why can I not see that? The heart is covering it. I gotta pin your comment. Will be what? Full? Will be full of bad jokes. Yeah, it will be. So unfortunate. You also said though Guillermo del Toro for a dark DC universe. I think we've talked about this on a stream before. I've talked about this in other videos in general. Guillermo del Toro for Justice League Dark. It should have happened. But yes, an Elseworlds like dark DC universe of maybe like magical characters or something. I am in. I'm in. Oh, Guillermo del Toro for Tom Taylor's Deceased run? Yeah, that would be epic. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Marvel fans don't watch DC movies, so I don't think that Gunn will have MCU like success in DC films. Plus, he's alienated DC fans and Snyder fans already. Yeah, no matter what you mention here are points on top of points on top of points. There are so many points to make that can see the downfall of this DCU already, and that's one of them. Dan Lin was a great choice, but they couldn't come to terms for the studio head position. Yeah, I remember when Dan Lin was in discussions to be taking over. I don't know. Dan Lin either hates Zack Snyder or he hates like Snyder fans or something like that. So once again, though, Dan Lin would have been left with a lot of controversy on the Snyder side of things because he wouldn't have given them what they wanted in any way. James Gunn already advertised not the good-looking Golden Age Superman costume. Did he show off the one that's got the really small S and it's red and yellow on the inside? Because he also has the S with the black on the inside as well. I know he advertised one on Threads. Who uses Threads? But yeah, wasn't a fan of the one he showed. Mm-hmm. Yeah, Claymores. Works for Guardians, won't for Superman. I don't know why all this blind optimism has come up about James Gunn doing Superman. Like, why is it that just because he did uh Guardians that immediately his Superman is going to be good? Yeah, he makes emotional stories with animals. Superman's not a raccoon. Um, and he only knows how to write for big groups of people. He's not the greatest when it comes to individual people. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. Gunn's gonna have his Kal-El wearing tight red booty shorts and just his boots and cape spinning around on a stripper pole. My God. There'll be a joke about that. Watch. There will be a joke about that. You often talk about DC needing a break. I think a dark DC universe could have given the big guns like Superman a break. Yeah, yeah. I think DC does need, it does need a break, especially when it comes to connected universes. We gotta let this thing die down right now because it's becoming too much. It's getting too much, And yeah, DC's Dark Universe. Don't give them all those big of a budget. Give them smaller budgets, and just see where it goes. You know. Which do you think should be adapted into live action? Court of Owls, Nightfall, or Hush? I love Hush because it introduces Superman into the story. Court of Owls is good. Nightfall's great. We always talk about Court of Owls needing a movie. Man, that's a tough one. Yeah, we do always talk about Court of Owls needing a movie, and Brown Destroyer just gave his vote. He said Court of Owls. I'll go Hush. I do like Hush. Because Hush, I think, is on the level of Court of Owls. He needs a live action representation. I think that would be necessary. He thinks because he did Brightburn and Super, he can make a Superman movie. Nope. Yeah, and did because he like wrote and directed Super, did he produce Brightburn only? I'm pretty sure he only produced it. I don't think maybe he wrote it. Let's see. Brightburn. Which now apparently Brightburn 2 is being looked at to be completely done by AI, which is disgusting. Producers James Gunn. Screenplay Mark Gunn and Brian Gunn. What are those, his other brothers? Does he have 3 brothers, bro? Does Gunn have 3 brothers? Because his one brother who plays the guy in Guardians of the Galaxy, does he have 2 other brothers? If so, I had no idea. There's no way he just conveniently worked on another project with 2 guns. Yeah, James Gunn didn't make Brightburn, but yeah, he produced it. Yeah, produced only. Okay. And I love too, like, don't get me wrong, if you produce a project, you're part of that film. But people give him credit as if he's the creator of Brightburn. Come on. Z Productions. Oh, he does. Hero 2. Yeah, he does, eh? Oh my god. There's James, Sean, Mark, and the other one. James, I almost said Jean. The other one is, go back to Brian. The other one's Brian. I had no idea. I thought it was only James and Sean. Huh. Okay. AMD says Court of Owls needs a movie. I'd like that. I think that storyline would be interesting. 100% it would be. It'd be a lot of fun to see that kind of relationship with Batman realizing there's something else that runs Gotham in the background. Actually, there are growing doubts about Superman Legacy. Rumors of the long delay that Campea responded to are telling Zaslav may be panicking. Of course Zaslav is panicking. Zaslav is known as the guy, and look, every person in Hollywood and who runs these studios, okay, they all have the mindset of we don't want to lose money, we want to make money. Zaslav has gone on record, though, to talk about how much he hates losing money. He is a money machine. He likes making money. That's why of all the CEOs of all these production companies during the strikes, he is making an unbelievable amount of money. He's making something like $200 million or more dollars a year, while the next guy behind him is Bob Iger, who's making $150 million. Zaslav loves money. And I'm telling you right now, the state DC is in, the state Warner Brothers is in, he is sweating 100%. I have no doubt about that. And he will make a move soon. He's going to make a decision on this DCU. Sup, just popped in. What's going on, Temple? Hope Manta wins in Aquaman 2, since almost every movie with villains winning is well acclaimed by most people, such as Empire Strikes Back, Revenge of the Sith, Infinity War, etc. You just named 3 movies that, in my opinion, have 10 out of 10s for me. Like, Infinity War, in my opinion, is the best Marvel movie. Empire Strikes Back is the best story-wise Star Wars movie. And Revenge of the Sith is the best emotional Star Wars movie. Obviously, the best Star Wars movie with action as well. Yeah, that would be really cool if Black Manta won in this movie. But that means we'd need a third one. And I don't know if they're going to be making a third. Zaslav is like Lex Luthor and Bob Iger's like Norman Osborn. Question is, which of them is better and which of them is worse? So like Iger is better than Zaslav, not like personality attitude wise. Not like a better person. He might be a better businessman because Disney is in a much better spot than Warner Brothers is. Yeah, but which one of them is worse? Maybe, yeah, like, who's the lesser of 2 evils? They might be on the same level. I feel like you can't turn your back on those guys, because the minute you do, done. You're dead. Backstabbed. 100%. So I don't know. That's a good question, though. Who'd win in a fight? David Zaslav or Bob Iger? I think David Zaslav would win. No weapons either. Just straight fists. Just like a street fight. And... yeah, street fight. No weapons, just fists. No knives, no bats, no nothing. I'm going to give it to Zaslav. I think he'd beat Iger. DC needs to take a break and then focus on solo projects being good first, then possibly a connected universe. Exactly. They should just focus on Elseworld stuff right now, not a connected universe. What if Sony buys DC? Oh. I wouldn't like it. Because I don't think they're good with Spider-Man. I don't think they handle Spider-Man very well, and they make really dumbass decisions. So I don't like it. I personally don't. Because I don't know how much better it would get from there. You already own a Marvel IP. Now you're going to own the entirety of the DC IP. I just feel like with DC, like Sony, right? They're sitting here being like, oh, we're going to create an whatever his name is, the wrestler dude from the Spider-Man Rogues Gallery, who's like a F-level character. No one knows him. We're going to make a Silver Sable movie as well. You know, we're going to make Venom and give him 2 terrible films. I feel like with DC, they'd be like, all right, we're going to make a Mad Hatter film that doesn't feature Batman. It's just going to be Mad Hatter. We're going to make a Robin movie, but it's going to be Carrie Kelly from The Dark Knight Returns, but she's got no connection to Batman. We're going to make a Krypton movie. It's going to be about a guy from Krypton who has no connection to Superman, though. I feel like that's what Sony would do. I think Sony would be worse than James Gunn. Let's put it that way. Iger and Zaslav, it's like Darkseid and Sidious. Both are evil. Yeah, pretty much. Both of those people are as evil as they can get to. They're on the same level. Imagine if Aquaman was announced to be a standalone universe like the Batman by Reeves is, if they kill off Amber in Aquaman 2 and replace her with the Dolphin. character, not animal. It could do pretty well. Maybe. And maybe that way, because there's always been this discussion that apparently James Wan and Jason Momoa have talked about that Aquaman was supposed to be a trilogy. Maybe that would be their only way of getting a trilogy out of Aquaman. I just don't know if the company is in any financial position to do something like that right now. Well, oh, you like the Venom movies. You like the Venom movies, eh? Okay. All right. Hey, to each their own. I think Venom looks great in the films. I'll say that much. I think Venom looks great. I remember watching the first one in theaters. I did. It's one of the few films I wanted to walk out halfway through the movie. I couldn't get on board with it. Really did not like it. I didn't watch number two, but I've seen enough of the movie through clips to know that I don't want to watch number two. But yeah, hey, like you just said there, it's a guilty pleasure for me. Everyone has those. I completely understand. I get it. You must have missed the scenes with Venom cooking breakfast. Yeah, Sony would just make an anarchy film. 100%, man. Where he's a hero. Uh-huh. Yes. Yes. Hot take. Anarchy should be a Green Arrow villain, not a Batman villain because of Ollie being very political. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. You wouldn't see me I think Batman has such a great rogues gallery. He can afford to give anarchy to someone else. I agree with you there. Yeah. All right, guys. Just realizing the time. I think I'm going to call it in a couple of minutes here. So if there's anything else you guys want to say, make sure to shoot down in the comments below. Maybe PBS will buy Warner Brothers. So it just becomes daytime television. That's all it is now. Hey, at this point, I'm willing to give the risk to any other production studio. So, maybe Walmart buys both Warner Brothers and Disney next year. Brother, they got the money. Warner Brothers has Walmart has the money for sure. Curious George versus Batman. That monkey is going to have a bad day. A bad day. I think I should buy DC. I will go 50-50 with you, big boy Yum Yum, if you're interested. We can do this together. Yeah, guys, great stream. This was a lot of fun. We went for 2 hours and 8 minutes and counting. Temple says who wins, Black Manta versus Namor? Good question. I might take Namor. I think he's physically more capable of trumping Black Adam, but I think Black Manta, but Black Manta has a lot of gear and a lot of skill to get around a man like that. If he can take on Aquaman, he could put up a fight on Namor. But yeah, guys, great stream today. This was fun. As for Aquaman, we'll see what happens with the movie. It makes money or not, if the movie's okay or not. There's a reason why they almost didn't market this film nearly at all. There's a reason why they've waited so long to present this movie to us. So we'll have to see what happens moving forward, guys. And can people actually buy DC IP through donation? What's the law? I don't think they have a public domain. I think it has to literally be a big sum of cash from a corporation or a company or something like that. Yeah, more Aquaman stuff we'll get, the more you'll hear me talking about it on the channel as we ramp up towards the movie and everything going on with DC and Warner Brothers. So everyone, have a good night, and I'll see you on the next stream, everyone. So until next time, I'll talk to you soon. Peace, guys.